Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to learn about how to program the pattern triangle. Okay, so how to program the right sided half pyramid pattern triangle. Okay, so in the previous videos you have seen the stars will start printing from the starting of the console here, right? But here in this given pattern the stars are being printed after the spaces get printed, right? So after the spaces get printed, the stars will be printed here. Okay, so we are going to divide the given pattern triangle in the form of a matrix. Okay, so if you divide this into the format of matrix, then you will get 3 rows and 3 columns, right? Okay, so if you want to print this star pattern in the right sided half pyramid pattern, so we have to first of all number the rows here. So we're having 3 rows and 3 columns, right? So we're having 3 rows and 3 columns. So if you want to print this pattern, so first of all we have to print the particular row. Okay, so followed by the, so after printing the row, so we can print the spaces here. So after printing the spaces, so lastly we have to print the stars, right? So now let us see how to print this one. So here in the given example, so first of all to print the stars, so we have to print the space triangle here. So if you observe this space, so it is in the format of the triangle format, and if you observe it clearly, it is like a left sided inverted half pyramid triangle. Okay, so which we have discussed in the previous videos. Okay, so it is in the format of the left sided inverted half pyramid triangle. Okay, so if you want to print the spaces in the format of the triangle, then you must know the code how to print the spaces in the format of triangle. So you have to know the inverted half pyramid triangle code. Okay, so if you are aware of that, then you can easily code the program for this particular pattern. Okay, so this is the programming code for this type of pattern. Okay, so here if you observe, the spaces are in the decreasing format. So in the first row spaces are 3 2 1 1, right? So here the spaces are in the decreasing format and the stars are in the increasing format. Okay, so in each and every row, first we have to print the spaces, then the star will get printed here. Okay, so don't take the exact number of spaces here. I'm taking it for the view. You don't take this 3 spaces only like that. Okay, so if you observe this the space triangle is in this pattern, so that way we are going to give this code. So here we are having 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so here the first for loop, that is for I equals to 1, I less than or equals to n, I plus plus. So this for loop, it is going to print the number of rows here. So if I am entering the number of rows as 3, then it is going to execute 3 times. Okay, so for every run of the outer loop, the inner loop will execute n number of times here. Okay, so the inner loop is going to execute the, it is going to print the columns. Okay, so after executing once the outer loop, so in the particular row it is going to print the columns, right? In this fashion it is going to print the columns. So each and every row it is going to print the, print the spaces in the particular fashion here. Okay, so here if you observe, the 3 spaces are there, next 2 spaces and 1 space, that means spaces are decreasing here. Okay, so that means, so we have to write the code such that the spaces will get decreased. Okay, so that's why we're taking the j equals to I, because here for each and every iteration the I value is going to get incremented. Okay, so that like that we can decrease the number of spaces here. So we're taking j equals to I. Okay, so here j value is dependent on I. So here if the I value increases, okay, then the number of spaces will get decreased. So why it will get decreased means, suppose I'm taking the number of rows as 3 here. So j less than or equals to 3. So here j value is I. So 1 less than or equals to 3 is true. That means for the first run it is going to print 3 spaces, and for the second run, that is after the outer loop, after the I value becomes 2, okay, if you are going to execute the inner loop, then j value becomes 2 and it is going to print only 2 spaces here, right? So instead of star, you have to replace it with the space. Okay, so after that in the third iteration, I value gets incremented to 3. Okay, and j becomes 3. So 3 less than or equals to 3. That means it is going to get print only one space. Okay, so in this fashion it is going to print the spaces. Okay, so now let us see how to print the stars. Okay, so to print the stars, in the first row we are having 1 star, second row 2 stars, and third row we are having 3 stars. Okay, so we have to print the, so that means, so here we are going to print the stars such that it denotes the row number, right? In the first row we are having 1 star, in the second row we are having 2 stars, and third row we are having 3 stars. That means it is, the number of stars are denoting the row number. Okay, so here, so given that outer loop for the first run, second run, and third run, how the space loops are running and the inner loop is running. Okay, so for the first run, so for the outer loop is the value with I, it is the outer loop. Okay, so for the first iteration it is going to print 2 spaces here, right? So in the given diagram 2 spaces are getting printed, so 2 spaces will print, and the second and the inner loop is going to execute, that is the star loop. So star will get only printed once. Okay, so next is second run. So for the second run it is going to print only 1 space and 2 stars. Okay, and third run, so third run of the outer loop, so it is going to print 0 space and 3 stars, right? So like that it is going to print the spaces and star. Okay, so let us see how this code will work. So the first for loop here is given. So this is for the outer loop is for the number of rows. So enter the number of rows. So I am taking the n value as 3. Okay, so for I equals to 1, I less than or equals to n, j plus I plus plus, that is for the rows. Okay, so we are going to draw the table here with the 3 rows. Okay, so here j equals to I. So j equals to I, that means, so j equals to 1 and j less than n. So j equals to 1 means j equals to 1, 1 less than 3. So which is true. So 1 less than 3 is true. So that's why it is going to run the space loop for 3 times. Sorry, it is going to run the space loop for 2 times, because here equals to is not given, right? So that's why it is going to print the spaces here. I'm just representing the spaces in the format of the underscore here. Okay, so normally the spaces will get printed. So after that one, this condition will fail and the control pass to the next for loop. So j equals to 1, j less than or equals to I, j plus plus. So this code is to print the star. Okay, so here the stars are in the increasing fashion, right? So that's why, and the number of stars in each and every row represents the row number. So that's why we're taking the condition as j less than or equals to I. Okay, so here j equals to 1 and 1 less than or equals to 1, which is true. That means it is going to print the star only once here, right? So next, so for the next iteration, okay, so here the control comes to the new line, that is this one, the second row. Okay, so next the for outer loop will execute again. So I equals to 2. So I value has been incremented here. So 2 less than or equals to 3. So we are taking 2 less than or equals to 3. So which is true, right? So 2 less than or equals to 3 is true. So it is going to enter the inner loop for the, that is a space loop. So j equals to 2 and 2 less than 3. So 2 less than 3. So which is true, and it is going to print 2 stars here. So sorry. So 2 less than 3, which is true, right? So we can print only one space. Okay. So since there is no equals to 2 less than 3, so it is going to print only one space. Okay. So after that one, this condition will fail and the control pass to the next for loop. And remember one thing that, so these for loops two are independent, right? The space loop and star loop are independent. So the execution of this or this one doesn't impact on each other. So here the j equals to 1, right? So j equals to 1 and j less than or equals to I. So here j equals to 1 and j less than or equals to I. That means 1 less than or equals to 2. So which is true, right? 1 less than or equals to 2 is true. So it is going to print the stars, 2 stars here. So 2 stars will get printed. Okay. And the control pass to the new line, that is third row. So in the third iteration, the outer loop I will get incremented. Okay, so I will be incremented to 3. So here the control pass to inner loop. So j equals to 3 and 3 less than 3. So 3 less than 3 is false, right? So if 3 less than or equals to means the condition will be true. But here it is 3 less than 3. So the condition will become false and space will not be printed here. And the control pass to the next for loop. So j equals to 1, 1 less than or equals to 3, right? I value is 3 now. So 1 less than or equals to 3. So which is true, right? So it is going to print 1 to 3. So that is 3 stars it will be printed for this iteration of the for loop. So 3 stars will get printed here. Okay. So again the control pass to the outer loop and here the condition fails because I value is more than 3. So condition fails and the number of stars are printed here for the n number of rows, that is 3 rows. So this is how we are going to execute the right sided half pyramid triangle. Okay. So now let us see the execution of this program. Okay. So instead of printing only stars, we are going to print the spaces also first of all, and then followed by that we are going to print the stars here. So I am entering the number of rows as 10. So it will print the stars in the invert in the right sided half pyramid triangle. Okay. So if you want to print the numbers or characters in this format also, you can print just by changing the, instead of writing the star pattern, we are going to change it to the number or the particular character you want to print. So I'm going to change the star with the, I want to print the integer here. So the format specifier for integer is %d. So I'm going to change the format specifier followed by the I. So it is going to print the variables here. So it will print the values here. So starting from 1 to 10. So here if you want to print the variables, I'm going to give the number of rows as 5, then it will be clear. Okay. So this is the triangle with the numbers. Suppose if you want to print the numbers in the different format, then I'm going to change the variable I to j. Okay. So it will print the same numbers in the different formats. So similarly, you can try the remaining formats also. And suppose if I want to print the alphabets here, so I'm going to change the format specifier to the characters since I want to print the alphabets. So here it is going to print the alphabets based on the ASCII value. We know that the ASCII value starts from the 65, right? So the capital A starts from the 65 to and so on, right? So that's why I'm going to give I plus 64. Okay? Because the I value is initialized to 1 here. So I plus 64 I'm going to give. So then it will start printing the values from the alphabet A. So enter the number of rows. So it is going to print the alphabets in this format. Suppose if you want to change the alphabets, I mean the format of printing the alphabets, then you can change the I value to J. Okay. So like this, you can apply the same formula for the different to obtain the different patterns here. Okay. So this is all about the